Call of Duty is a very popular video game franchise created by Activision that aims to emulate real-life war situations on an online platform. Earlier this month, Activision released their newest installment of the Call of Duty franchise, Call of Duty World War II, managing to surpass $500 million worldwide in the first weekend of release alone. Every year, millions of video game fans worldwide pre-order the newest Call of Duty game, anticipating the unchanging November release date. And it's not a trend that appears to end anytime soon. In fact, Activision recently announced that this year's Call of Duty has sold twice as many units as the previous Call of Duty did at launch. Activision's ever-increasing focus on realism, graphics, gore, and gameplay have fans, including me, almost literally throwing their money at the company every year. The graphics of these games are getting so advanced that it isn't unusual to mistake a clip of the game for a movie. I found myself in this situation while playing the World War II campaign. This is a video game, people. These aren't real people. And it's not just the Call of Duty franchise. A huge amount of video game franchises such as Grand Theft Auto, Doom, Battlefield, and Assassin's Creed have the same goal in mind: to increase the realism and violence, which in turn increases sales. Take Grand Theft Auto for example. Originated in 1997 as a third-person car driving game, the developing company Rockstar Games has most recently created Grand Theft Auto 5, a game where any amount of violence is possible. According to the ESRB, Grand Theft Auto is rated mature 17+ for intense violence, blood, gore, nudity, you get the point. But nobody is enforcing these guidelines. All it takes is a 12-year-old with a console, internet access, and a gift card from grandma to unlock a world of limitless, punish-free violence. But that's made possible only recently with advancements in technology. Let's turn back time a couple years to April 20th, 1999, the date of the Columbine shooting, in which two men, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, gunned down 12 students and a teacher, leaving 24 others injured. The two boys were obsessed with Doom, a game considered to be extremely graphic at the time, to the point of saying murder would be just as easy as playing the game. Harris even had a sawed-off shotgun he referred to as Arlene, a character in Doom. This perceived connection between violent video games and mass shootings even caused the families of the Columbine victims to sue 11 video game companies, including the creator of Doom, 2 years after the tragedy. The lawyer representing the families claimed they wanted to remove violent video games because they caused the shootings, but the case was dismissed on the grounds that violent video games are not subject to product liability laws. Nonetheless, people continued to use violent video games as a scapegoat for violent behaviors. In the year 2000, Senator Brownback of Kansas and Professor Anderson of Iowa State University even went as far as testifying before Congress, hoping to prove a link between violent video games and mass murders. But this case, as well as others, did not win. On the contrary, those that oppose, including myself and others in the Polytech Residence Hall, utilize violent video games as a way of release from our busy lives. And I don't know a single fellow violent video game enthusiast that has the want to unload on a room full of innocent people. Dr. Christopher Ferguson, Department Chair of Psychology and Communications at Texas A&M, agrees with my belief, stating that studies show no increase in violent behavior from violent video games. He goes on to say that it's different from after Columbine, when many questions were raised about violent video games' motivations for violence. He stated that although violent video games are gaining more and more popularity, youth violence has been at a 40-year low. Despite games evolving, becoming more and more violent as the years continue, Ferguson's study suggests that people need to stop pointing their fingers at the game and instead look into mental health issues. While I sum up, I'll show you a clip of me going off in Call of Duty. In this short video presentation, I gave my attention to the games that millions of adolescents play nationwide to investigate whether or not they correlate with mass shootings. While many are quick to point the finger at the developing companies, I provided evidence as to why these people are false despite the increasing violence in games. I believe that if our society hopes to lower the number of mass shootings, we should remove violent video games from the conversation, instead focusing on the topic of mental health. If video games do remain the topic of discussion, instead of the real issues like mental health and gun control, we will continue to walk further away from our goal of reformation.